This movement is known as shift. And the reason why it's called shift is it's part of the gait cycle. At one moment in time, when the leg is swinging forward, at the moment the heel strikes the ground, the other leg we are shifting off of. We're trying to bring our weight onto that forward leg just moments before the foot actually comes down onto the ground. So we can focus on the striking aspect of what's occurring, but in this case, we're going to pay attention more to the mechanics of shifting off of the back leg. And in so doing, we're going to really explore how to open and lengthen and load the tissues of that back hip and leg, as well as the trunk muscles, because they are like a rubber band that has been lengthened and ready to fire across the room. So when we walk, it's not just simply swinging the leg forward and carrying on to this portion. It's actually a 50-50 action of propelling off of the back leg while we drive or swing the other leg forward. And the same will occur when we get to the other leg. So with shift, we're going to put ourselves in a forward stride position. However, what we'd like to do is take the forward leg and just sweep it off to the side a little bit, maybe shoulder width apart, perhaps hip width, just so that you're not in a completely straight line with both feet. Now with my forward leg, I'm going to try and glide my body over onto it or in that direction. And because my feet are apart or fairly shoulder width, my pelvis is not going to necessarily travel forward in a straight line, but it's more or less going to travel in a diagonal fashion, forward and slightly off to that side. Now, imagine if you could that you have somebody that's pulled a practical joke on you and took some super glue and superglued the pad of your forefeet and your toes to the ground. So as you come forward, your heel can lift off, but your forefoot has to stay anchored to the ground. In fact, if you put a little bit more pressure on the outer portion of the forefoot, that pad just behind that pinky toe or the fifth toe, you'll begin to experience how that helps to extend that back knee. And that causes this hip to extend. The other thing it does is it pulls the pelvis back around in that direction. So although we're traveling forward, the pelvis is going to rotate back into that direction. As that occurs, what we're going to do also is take the same side arm as the forward leg, and you're just going to lift it up overhead. And as that occurs, the rib cage is going to be leaning or side bending toward the opposite side of the forward leg. And what we will hopefully find is as we perform this motion, the hips are traveling forward and toward that side, the rib cage is traveling away to the opposite side, and the head is staying level. So if I took a weight or a line from the bottom of my chin, it hopefully will be pretty much lined up directly above that back foot. So gliding forward and into that forward side, raising the arm upward to drive the rib cage over. Now the other element we can put in here is if the ribs are going to go in opposition to whatever the pelvis is doing, and the pelvis is rotating toward the back foot, then by taking the other hand and reaching forward, preferably with the palm up, that'll encourage the rib cage to go in the opposite direction. I know this is a lot like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. There's a lot of moving parts in here. That's why you just want to take it one little step at a time here. Can you get the pelvis to glide forward but rotate in the opposite direction? Can you keep the forefoot in contact and allow that knee to extend and the hip to extend while the body travels forward? Can you get a sense of what that's like? Once you get those ingredients, then add the arm. Can I get the shift of my pelvis forward while my rib cage kind of lags behind or stays off to the opposite side? The other thing that we didn't mention with this is we don't want to extend through the spine and draw the shoulders back. But we actually want to find a place where the spine is neutral or slightly flexed forward. So can I perform that without the pelvis dropping or tilting forward? Can I keep the pelvis from hiking over to one side? Can I just keep it gliding nice and level? And as you keep it level, you're going to feel the muscles on the inner thigh most likely start to really experience true length. Now, of course, you can do it on the other side, and it's probably a good idea to figure out which side it is. And you've got the assessments at your disposal, so assess, perform the movement on one side, and then reassess. Then do the same thing to the opposite side. Which gave you the most benefit? Chances are there's going to be one side that you can develop a little bit more often than the opposite side. And it's not going to be the one necessarily that's easy, because the easy side is probably the one that you've been doing all along without actually knowing it. So, assess, move, reassess. What was the outcome?